My name is Adham Yousef Salem, النكبية جحا. And the second question?
Your Hamouna.
Hamoud Dar Yusuf.
When and where were you born?
I was born in Ramallah 1945 in April.
Please state your mother and father's full names.
My father Yusuf Abid Salem Juha, النكبية. My mother Lydia Najib Nasser.
Please state your grandparents' full names on both sides.
My father's grandfather from my father's side, it's Abid Yusuf Salem El Abid. And my grandmother is Helene Harb. And my mother's side, my mother was, I can't say adopted, but was raised by her aunt because her mother passed away. She stayed a few years with her stepmother, and she don't like it, so her aunt raised her. So we didn't have too much connection of my mother's side. I don't know who's my grandfather. I never met. She didn't have any brothers, so we're not that much connection with my mother's side. And my father, he was the only kid. He have 3 sisters. I have aunts, but I never have uncles.
What did your parents do for a living?
My mother, she never worked. She always raised the kids because we were 11. 3 passed away, so 8 was alive when she raised us. My father, he used to work with the contractor from the family in Beirut, in Aden, in Qatar. He used to be in charge with the employees in there. And because he's the only kid in the family, he was spoiled too. He worked 6 months and sit for another year or so until he work again.
Do you have any personal memories of your grandparents?
No. When I was born, they all passed away.
My grandparents.
So my parents, I never met them. The only one I remember is my grandmother from my father's side. She lived to be 105, and she used to live with us. And I could say she raised us with my mother. That's the only one I remember good. And when I left the States, she was alive. She passed away when I was in the States in the 70s, somewhere in there.
So you don't have any personal memories?
Oh, with my grandmother, yeah. I mean, she always helping, and they used to call her Saba Ijreem because she used to go in the morning, get all the stuff for the house, and go again in the afternoon, get some stuff and visit this and this. She used to be lovely, lovely, nice lady.
Tell us one of your most memorable stories you heard from your grandparents.
Nothing.
What traditions did you practice while growing up? Do you still practice the same traditions?
I think after we moved to the States, we stuck with our traditions much more than the people live in Ramallah, because we carry with us, even we went back to the old dialogue, the Fallahi words. And here we used to speak Madani, قالوا قلنا. رحنا America, we used to say, Chief Halak, Chief, and we get back to the original stuff. And we raise our kids like we get raised before. Now I could see the kids here in Ramallah, they have more new ideas and more looking forward for the new stuff than our kids in the States. Like my daughters, they never could leave the house if my wife have a party in the house. Until they finish the party, they finish cleaning the food, then cleaning the dishes, then they could do their own. But I see them in here, my daughter's age, her mother put the plates for her to eat, then bye mom, I see you later, and she have the company in the house. So that's, to carry the old traditions, it becomes more stronger back في بلاد الغربة than here.
Describe your home in Ramallah. How many bedrooms, bathrooms,
When I was a kid, my house used to be in the main street of Ramallah, and the city hall gave us 400 dinars to open the main street that next to the gas station now in the downtown and all the city. And we moved back to the old house my grandfather used to have Filmasyun, and it was very old, and we lived in it for about, I remember I was 10, 11 years. Then my brothers and sisters, they used to work in Kuwait. They saved $3,000, and they decided to turn the house down and build a new house. So in the new house, we have shower, we have bathroom, and we have but before that, the bathroom was outside, and the shower in the legend, and you have to boil the water, then have a shower the old-fashioned way. But we shared the room when we were kids here.
With who?
With my brothers and sisters.
Did you live in that house the whole time you lived in Ramallah? If not, where did you move?
No, I lived in the house with the family all the way.
As a child growing up in Ramallah, what did you do for fun? For example, did you go swimming, biking with family?
And swimming, we used to have what you call, I can't use the word, but small pool. It's not a pool, that's for winter time in Ain Saman. But our fun was the Boy Scout. Ramallah Boy Scout, Sarit Ramallah was the most fun for every single young guy in Ramallah, because there used to be camping, summer camps. At my time, we did the first time is the winter camp in Jericho. Then we started doing the winter camp in Ramallah at the winter time. So I could say the Boy Scout was number one, not school, college, to our age at that time for the kids. And still as strong as now, still going very strong. We are behind the Sariya million times, not 100%.
Were you able to travel easily from village to village back then?
At the time, we used to do Boy Scout trips, and it was walking, not in cars. At the time, we didn't have too many cars, buses between village and village. But if you go to Nablus or to Khalil as Boy Scout trips, we used to take the buses or hitchhiking even at the time, yeah. But not too much visiting villages because we were kids, so it's not too much for us to do in villages.
What is one of your most vivid memories of Ramallah growing up here?
For Ramallah what?
Growing up here. So what was your most vivid memory when you were in Ramallah while growing up here?
I think school and the Boy Scout, that's the most thing any kids do at the time. So there's not too much action, not too much of swimming or soccer. They used to have small games, but not too much activities for us kids at the time.
And what was your most, let's say, interesting memory of Ramallah while you were growing up here? Was it the Boy Scout or was it something else?
No, the Boy Scout was number one.
When the Arab-Israeli conflict began, what were some of the immediate changes you experienced living in Ramallah?
It was, I think, the worst feeling when they come to Ramallah, because I used to work in a Grand Hotel. That's one of the best hotels was in Ramallah. And because I'm my father friend with the owners of the hotel, I used to live in there too. I eat with the owners, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I have a room in there to sleep in. When they occupied the West Bank, coming to Ramallah, they occupied the hotel, the first one, because big hotel, well known. Even the British one, they have the occupation, they occupied that hotel. So the minute they come in, First night, in the morning, they come and tell the owner of the hotel, she was a lady, and said, you have to take us to the mayor of the city. It was Nadim Zaru. Then I was standing, I said, no, I'll go with you. So I took them to the mayor's house. He came out, 3 jeeps, I think, or 4. And he said, the soldier told him, the mayor, push, go in the car. Then the mayor said, listen, I'm the mayor of the city, you open the door for me. I was shaky. I figured they're going to shoot him because who are you to tell us what to do? And they are occupied, they are soldiers. So the soldiers say, yes, sir. So I opened the door for him. He sat down, they took him to the hotel. So I felt bad. I took them to the mayor, but at the time we were friends too. He was older than me, but we was very close friends. But it's a bad feeling.
How long did you live in Ramallah during the conflict?
2 months. After the war, second month, a friend of mine from the lead, with the occupation of the 48, he said, let's take you over next to Tel Aviv. They have lead, my village. Let's go. I'll show you where I used to live or my parents where I used to live. So he took us there. And the way back to Tel Aviv to come to Ramallah, we say the American embassy. He said, let's see if they give us visa to the States, 3 of us. So I was the first one to go in. He said, what do you want to go in there for? I said, my sister, she lives in the States. He said, all right, what's her address? What's her name? I gave her her name. He said, what's her address? I said, Georgette Araj, San Francisco, like she's the mayor in there. He said, any address? I said, no, I can't remember. Phone number? I don't know. You have picture for the visa? I said, no. He said, you have anything in your pocket? The Jareed Palestine, they used to give me a small ID to do interview with the kids at the school and the Boy Scout. I said, I have this picture for the ID from the newspaper. He said, the newspaper is gone, Palestine is gone. If you want to go to the States, give me that picture, I'll give you a visa. He gave me a visa in less than 7 minutes. And I think that part of America, the European country, to get the Christians out of Palestine, to show that Palestine mostly, it's Muslim country, and Israel, they fight in Israel as a Muslim country. At the time, I felt like if 100 Muslims go into the consulate to get visa, and 100 Christians go in there, he gives the 100 Christians visa, maybe 2 or 3 or 4 Muslims. Because he gives us the visa just like this, 3 of us. So it must be planned before the war, and it was, because all the immigration from the West Bank, from Palestine, start way earlier, especially for the Christians, to show that this is a Muslim country, it's not Christian.
What did you and your family do to survive? You did that. What did your family do?
My brother used to work in here, and sister and brother work in Kuwait, so they saved some money. And plus, at the time, you could live in less than $50 a month, because the only thing for the food, the house, no payments. We used not to have electricity anyway. And we were so poor, even the meat we used to eat once a week. Not only us, most of Ramallah people, they wasn't that rich. And I'll tell you one thing, that poor life to have pleasure to it, because when you eat the meat once a week, you eat the fruits only in the summertime, when you have just a few pennies to spend, you buy sweets, it tastes so good because you can't have it every day. You have it once a month, once a week, once every 2 weeks. So the poor life, it have a beautiful meaning to life. That's what I remember most of the kids when I was a kid. Now you have the meat every day. You didn't even eat, you can't eat it now. When you have the money, you can't eat the meat.
Where did you go to school in Ramallah?
The first year when I was a kid was in the Catholic church, and by force you have to go to church every morning. So one day I was out, the priest came and said, "Why are you not in church?" I said, "Abuna, I'm sitting there, I can't understand a word he said because the whole thing in Latin. I'm sitting like a dummy in there, not even a dummy, I said like a mar. I can't understand the words." So he slapped me in my face. I went to my father and said, "I'm going to go in that church or that school." So الكلية الوطنية, it was next to us, having a branch for the kids. He said, "Go to Ustaz Khalil, tell him I send you, he take you to school." So I start from first class up to I graduate from, it used to be called Madras Khalil Abu Raya, الكلية الوطنية. And I think if Ramallah have a good man, was the principal, the owner of that school. Because I remember, because we were poor, he never took the money from us, or because he is a friend of my dad. But he used to help a lot of people from original Ramallah. If you are poor, you come to school, no money.
Did you work? If so, what did you do?
I work as before I graduated in that hotel in the summertime, as receptionist in the hotel. And after I graduate, I worked in there for a year. Then the war happened. I moved to the States.
What did you work in the States?
What I do in the States? I work as janitor. I work in Ford Motor Company in the assembly line. And then when I moved back to California, I opened my grocery store. I worked in the grocery store before, filling the bottles and the coolers and cleaning the floors. Then I opened my own. And I stayed with the grocery store, then a deli, then retired after 4 years of working.
When and where did you meet your spouse? Did you know her in Ramallah?
She used to be third youngest one, sister of my friend in the Boy Scout. They are from the same Adham Yousef family, but when I used to visit my brother, I used to shake hands with her oldest sister, never even talk to her because she was younger, about 5 years younger than me, 4 or 5, yeah. So when I went to the States, I took visitor visa. So I have to get married to stay in the States. So I used to work for 6 months, save $1,000 or $2 to get married. They show me this girl. You are poor, you didn't have a car, you didn't have a house, you didn't have a store. No, thank you. That one, the same thing. The one they agreed to marry me, the one I don't like. So it was a war between my poor life, because they don't want me, and other one is stuck with the wife for life. The one I just take her just to give me the alien card. So it was almost, so when my wife moved from Ramallah to Detroit, to her brother and father living there, my mother wrote me a letter, say, so-and-so sister, she moved to Detroit, go see her. I was in San Francisco. She figured the space between San Francisco and Detroit, it's like Jerusalem and Ramallah. So I called my friend Azmi, I said, her sister is here, and you know, I didn't have a store, I didn't have money, and they were the same as me, but little better because they are 1 year ahead of me, or 2 years. He said, we don't care about the money, we came in the same boat. Come and see her, if she like you like her, we don't mind as parents. So I went to her, it was, met the first week, second week engagement, third week it was the wedding. But we've been together, the end of this year will be 50 years.
Did you go on a honeymoon?
Hell no. From the church, not even to apartment. It was the attic. The attic is the second story between the roof and the floor. They have a bed in there and a small kitchen and small. So we didn't have any money to go to honeymoon. Even my wife wedding dress was borrowed from my friends. He gave me, he said, you can afford one, rent, not rent, we'll give you hours to get married and we take it back. But after 3 years, we took honeymoon from Detroit to California, moved back to California. So instead of take the plane for 5 hours, we took a week. So every city we stay in, we stay one night. So it was 3 years later a honeymoon.
What is your occupation and what is your spouse's occupation?
My wife, she never worked until all my kids was over 18 years old after they graduated from high school. At the time, we used to have the grocery store and a deli inside the supermarket. And then after the kids, they were all out or out of school, so she used to come and help me to have, not to get bored of the house.
How many children do you have?
I have 2 boys and 2 girls, from 40 to 48.
Tell us about leaving Ramallah for the U.S. When did you leave?
2 months after the war, 67.
Okay, I left. So,
That's what I said after the war. It's in 2 months we want to get the visa, and he gave us a visa, so I left 2 months later.
what mode of transportation did you take and how long was the journey?
It was the plane stopped from here to Paris, Paris to United States. My brother gave me $300 to get to the States. So it was a funny part. We went to the States, to Paris one night. We didn't pay for it, the airline paid for it, and 3 guys was in the plane. So we rent a car to take us, show us Paris and the whole thing. Then after that we said, can we see a bar or to find a girl or to have fun? He said, yeah, this place, a hotel, dinner and drink, a movie and a girl, $350. I said, you crazy? You only have 300. And then he said, this place, dinner and girl and a drink, 200. I said, listen, we just want to have fun. So it was $20. I said, all right, we'll do that. Forget the rest of the stuff.
Who did you travel with and where did you land? Did you stay there? If not, where did you settle?
And that's what I said. 2 friends of mine traveled with me from here to the States. One night in Paris, the rest in the States, straight to California. No, not even to California. We stopped in Detroit for 3 days to see our friends, the one who were ahead of us in the States. We stayed with them 3-4 days. Then we fly to San Francisco.
How old were you?
22. And I got married when I was 23.
Describe your feeling the first time you landed in the U.S.
Honestly, I can't remember. I don't think the feeling when you left here, you have the feeling. When you get there, I think between here and there, you lose the feeling that you left the hometown you like.
Were your children born in the U.S.? If so, how many?
Oh, they all born in the U.S., and there are 4.
Talk about your immigration experience and living in the U.S. How easy was it to assimilate or blend into the American society?
It wasn't that easy up to now. I'm there for 50 years. I think their mentality or their thinking different than ours. So, and what make it difficult or not easy, because we are very close, the Ramallah people in there, are close in heart and close in living together. So, like in Detroit, we used to be family getting together. So, my wife sometimes with the kids neighborhood. The American people, they used to go and chat and talk, and the kids play together. But as men, we used to work. After work, you go to the house, have dinner, and chat with the kids. So we're not very close to the American society, really.
Did you speak English? Talk about your neighbors. Where did you live?
Yeah, I speak English, but not as good as theirs. But we never try to be close to our neighbor. Beside hi and good morning, how are you? But visit each other, not much. Sit in the front yard and talking about the weather, about the politics, about the things we do. But visiting, I live in a court with 5 houses. I only visit one guy's house, and he visits me once in 35 years. But we talk a lot, but not close, because we have a lot of friends of our own, so we don't need more friends.
Do you have any family members remaining in Ramallah, or are they all in the U.S.?
No, they're all in the U.S. except sister. She never want to go to U.S. because she have 4 daughters. She live in Bethlehem. But she passed away last year.
So all your family members are in the U.S.?
Now we only have left me and my sister only. But all my nephews and it's all living there, yeah, the States.
Since immigrating to the U.S., have you traveled back to Ramallah? If so, when and how often?
And the first 20 years, from 68 we get married to 87, I was busy with the kids and the business and to raise them. I make my first trip by myself without the wife in 87. And then from 89 to 2002, we used to come, me and the wife, every year for 2, 3, 4 weeks vacation. Then from 2002, after I retired, me and the wife, we decided to come in here 4 to 6 months a year. We spend the summertime in Ramallah, and the rest we go back to see our kids in the winter time. And even my daughter, she came in here in 2005 or 6. Most of the girls in here, they like to go have the baby in the estate. My daughter, she come to have the baby here. And she lived here with her husband for 1 year. But the money he used to earn, he used to work as a teacher, is not enough for them to live. So they decided to go back. But they are here now, all of them, visiting.
Describe how Ramallah feels to you since leaving.
When?
Describe how Ramallah feels to you since leaving.
To me, it's like I never left. They have a lot of buildings and a lot of new streets and getting much bigger. But I didn't see that.
Do you still stay in touch with people in Palestine?
All the time, since before I left, when I was there, up to now. And we are very close with the people I know here. That's why I never felt like I left Ramallah. And now even I have more friends than ever.
What are your thoughts about Ramallah now and what's happening with Jerusalem?
Ramallah is getting bigger, not only Ramallah. It's all over the world getting bigger. Even I remember when I moved myself from San Francisco to small towns about 20 miles from San Francisco called Belmont. When I used to go at night time at the highway, 1 car or 2 passed by at 10 o'clock in the evening. I used to be scared to go at night time. Now it's 24 hours a day. It's busy like hell. Same as Ramallah. I mean, 20 years or 30 years ago, it was very small. But the whole world getting bigger, so it doesn't bother me to get bigger. People complaining too much car and too much building, too much streets. But everywhere in the world is going that way, so no big deal.
And what are your thoughts about what's happening in Jerusalem?
In Jerusalem, it's been occupied by a lot of different countries and religions. So it was from the Muslim to the Christians to the Jewish to the English. So it's gonna end up sooner or later back to the Palestinian, because it doesn't matter what. One day I remember we have a meeting in my house. Leah Rabin was there because we have a group of Palestinian and Jewish. We call it Jewish Room Living Dialogue. So she visited us. And one of the guys, he's from Bethlehem, he said, Mrs. Rabin, you're working for the peace. What do you think about Jerusalem? He said, listen, you Christians, you have Rome. You Muslims, you have Mecca. We Jewish have Jerusalem. I told her, listen, but the air in there, Palestinian. The streets, Palestinian. The building, Palestinian. The churches, Palestinian. The mosque, Palestinians. You occupy the city, but you can't say it's yours, because everything that is there, Palestinian. You have the New Jerusalem, what you call yours. But sooner or later, it's going to be ours again. Because Golda Meir at the time, once he said, there's no such a thing called Palestinian. And now you and your husband sitting with us as Palestinian. So Jerusalem will be Palestinian again. And Trump, I think he announced it as the capital of Israel. I think he have Jewish mind, or his son-in-law convinced him, or brainwash him about Jerusalem. Even though you could notice the 2 dates he had for Jerusalem. First time when he announced it's going to be the capital, it was exact day 100 years ago when Olympi went to Jerusalem. And when he announced the change in the embassy from Tel Aviv, transferred to Jerusalem, it was the same day of the Nakba of 1948. So they must pick the dates for him to be against the Palestinian. And that shows you that it's not going to last for long. It's going to take time, but sooner or later it's going to be back to Palestine.
Do you think you will see peace in your lifetime?
No. Because whatever they took, like Abdel Nasser said, what took by force, you can return it except by force. If we didn't have, within 10, 15 years, some strong leader of the neighboring country like Jordan, Iraq, Lebanon, or Syria, or Egypt, to have a war with Israel, to force them to agree on have 2 states, Israel is not going to give the land for nothing. They are the stronger now, but how long they can be stronger, that's another point. United States are stronger now, but how long they going to stay like this? England was controlling 90% of the world. What is it now? So everything changed. But my lifetime, I don't know. I hope so, but I don't know.
What, if anything, are you doing to help the peace process?
Like I told my Jewish friends back in the States, it's waste of time, but it's good to hear their stories and let them hear our stories. And what changed the Jewish mind in the States, I think the computer, the social media, and the Facebook, because they start digging for the truth, and now they found out that Palestinians have some right in Palestine. But before the social media and the computers, they used to get all the information only from Israel. So they brainwashed them. But now, a lot of the Jewish people understand that we have a life as much as they have life. So they're doing a lot now. But can take much longer time.
What are you doing in support of the Palestinians?
I think me coming back to my homeland, to my town, to see me here, I think worth much more than any money in the world. A friend, when he see me in here, come to support him 4 or 5 months a month, I think better than $1 million. If I send it from there, I'm not here. The present here is the more support. Money is nothing these days. Yeah.
If you have anything else to add, feel free. Or if you have any story that you want to tell us.
Memories can be out of anybody's mind. I mean, this is a long story. Everybody, most of the time, they keep it for themselves. And they have those memories when go to bed and start going back to the old life. It had beautiful meaning. But story is too long and too many. It needs a book, doesn't it? Not for me, because I'm not a writer. But I'm sure somebody will. Yeah.
Talk about your newspaper articles.
It used to be a hobby at the time. It wasn't professional to be a newspaper man, but I used to do the schools, do an interview with the kids. And when they used to have Mahrajanat Ramallah Fatira, I used to interview the people. They come and do Mahrajan, the artists. I used to publish it in Jareed Palestine. It used to be more a hobby than a job. And I was hoping after I graduate to go and learn it. But the war stopped everything to go different ways, different life, different things. But still up to now, the Facebook helped me a lot through my thoughts in the Facebook. But those old memories, I have it in newspapers, old ones. My daughters put them in a book and have little memories back there. Thank you. But we'll scan some of those things and put them in the paper. Big stuff, small stuff, stupid stuff, good idea stuff. But mostly about the Boy Scout, to have nice article, Boy Scouts. Yeah.
What is your most favorite out of them? Your favorite?
Article? Two things. One about the Mahrajan and the other one about the Boy Scout. And I'm proud at the time I was the first one to do interview with the street people. They used to beg for some money. And that was good article saying why they're doing it, how come they're in the streets. Now you see the kids in the street. But in my time, it used to be this lady, it used to be about 50, 55, sit in the corner across the street from the French school, begging for some money. The other guy was, I think, cut his feet. He didn't have foot, and he used to go beg some money. But now it's the kids doing it. But I'm proud, most of the kids these days, they don't beg like they used to. They sell stuff to make their living. And I'm proud of that. I mean, sometimes maybe they bother some drivers, but at least to sell things to make a living, gum or napkin, or make you proud not to beg for a nickel. And one guy, I give him the 4 shekel, 5 shekel. I said, keep it, I don't need the napkin. He said, no. You pay for it, you take it. Otherwise, I don't want your money. That makes you more proud. They're not a beggar. They're workers, yeah. Thank you very much.